Pat Soundbytes IGTV. Keeping new music alive is what I do on the radio and now on video. Conducting live chats with the artists and learning the stories behind their latest release and also playing their new video. Special thanks today to my sponsor Go-Go Tuners for all guitar players looking for a focus on ease of use, readability, durability, and accuracy. Look no further. The Go-Go Tuner is the choice of many touring professionals and a favorite of casual players. Go-Go's signature green you're in and red you're out screen makes tuning quick and easy. For more information, go to the website at gogotuners.com. Special thanks to WBXO Classic Rock Radio Redefined, allowing me to keep new music alive on the radio airways on the Pat Show every Sunday from 5 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. Only on WBXO Classic Rock Redefined. And a big thank you to Mr. Evan Balzer for allowing me to use his amazing instrumental that you're hearing right now. It's called Trails. To find out more incredible music by Evan, go to his website at evanbalzer.com. And my guest today, well, he's a returning guest. Sacramento, California blues rocker, the amazing Austin Moe. Austin has released his second single called Take a Walk in My Shoes, a follow-up to his amazing track, The River. We're going to play the track. We're going to talk to Austin on what's going on, how's life working under Mr. Frank Hannon, and a whole lot more right here on Pat Soundbytes IGTV. Hey, live on Pat Soundbytes IGTV. Keeping new music alive is what I do on the radio and on video and on podcasts. And I got to check that out, Austin. Remind me about podcasts. Anyway, I got this cool, young guy from Sacramento, California. Had him on, I think my notes said December, with The River. Great blues rocker, singer, songwriter. My man, Austin Moe. How are you, Austin? Great to see you.
I'm doing good, Pat. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
No, man, thanks for reaching out. Austin's got another killer track out, Take a Walk in My Shoes, kind of behind me. I'm trying to learn all this Zoom stuff. I haven't figured out how to decrease it so I get to the whole thing. But if you see the little sneakers in the pouring rain, think of Austin Moe. We're going to talk about that. It just came out on June 25th. Man, did this track rock, Austin. I mean, I fell in love with The River. And I think the last time we talked, I told you about that swamp rock thing.
Mm-hmm.
And this just got that little guitar, and then it just explodes. A killer riff, your great vocals. And I think I told you, it's so relevant for today. It's simple. It's very meaningful and clear. As I look at my notes, I wrote down here, everybody has their own story. You can't judge a book by its cover.
Totally.
We're going this crazy world that we live in, fights and violence and shootings. And I can't even tell you when I watch the news, I don't ever see anything positive.
Right.
So, talk to me about Take a Walk in My Shoes. And I need to add that Austin is working with the great, wonderful Frank Hannon of Tesla and Frank Hannon Productions, and being mentored by Frank is priceless. And Austin obviously understands that, with the guys from Red Voodoo and JT Lux and others. And just Frank is just a terrific soul to be able to want to do that and help keep rock alive with working with great talent like Austin Moe. So, Austin, take me through the steps of the songwriting of Take a Walk in My Shoes. Was this Frank says, okay, man, it's time to write a song or two. Tell me what you got. And you just sat back and thought about what we're going on today.
So when we got together, what would happen was, so last year I went over to his house quite a lot, actually. He lives probably, just shy of 2 hours away from me, so it's not a terrible drive. So just hanging out with him, we talk and about what's going on in the world. And the one thing that he showed me when they were when Tesla was City Kid, and they would write down their music, Frank would have a notebook full of ideas or phrases, or even like to-do lists, or just stacks and stacks of these little notebooks you can get for $1.80 or whatever at Walgreens. And so he told me when we were writing The River to buy one and start writing ideas down. And so at the time when we got together, there was almost every single time you turned on the television, either on the news or there was commercials about, this party shouldn't like this party because we don't believe in what they believe, and you should demonize, regardless of if they're your friends or not. And so there was that. And then on the other side was, there was so many riots going on that it really kind of bummed me out, like, a lot. And so that got me thinking, what would the world look like if instead of fighting and trying to divide us as a nation, we came together? And so with that kind of viewpoint in mind, I started writing down little lyrics here and there. And a couple of times Frank and I went out to lunch, and we were just trying to figure out what the message is that we wanted to create with this song. And so when we came upon that idea, it was more or less just some going to my phone, listening to riffs. And sometimes, at least for myself, when there's words, riffs, and kind of a humming idea, it just all comes together really quick. And when I went home hanging out with Frank one day, we had come up with like, oh, this riff sounds kind of cool with these words. So I went home and toiled with it. And then I sent him the initial idea a couple days later. And he was like, yeah, that's fantastic. So he called me on the phone and he goes, hey man, this is great, but I think for the chorus, maybe try doing something like this instead. And I really think this part could sound really strong right here. And so what he was doing, at least from my observation looking back at it, was he was trying to show me how to analyze an idea and take it from here and bring it up to here, And so doing that, he really helped me strengthen my songwriting. And, even just talking to him now, he's still showing me ideas and how to create killer works of art.
That is amazing. Talk about priceless, that, we take it for granted, and then you put another set of eyes and ears on it that has the experience and says, well, why don't we move the bridge, or why don't we add the rift here, or why don't we try to get the message here? And you're absolutely right. I mean, you're a young man, and, I've been around for quite a while, and to see where we are at today, and it doesn't matter what race you are in, to picking on the Asians or white, black, whatever. It's just ridiculous. Can't we all just get along? And when you listen to the song, when you first sent it to me and I played it the first time, I said, wow. Then I got to play it a second time and close my eyes and crank it up in the headphones. And then I listened to the third and the fourth and the fifth, and I go, my goodness, this is like spot on. So it's really cool to hear that this was your idea. This wasn't like Frank saying, here, I got something that you maybe want to use. But no, he's absolutely right. I can only imagine that, you open up a little book and you just write, violence and riots and people picking on people for stupid crap. And, hopefully you can turn the page, Austin, and there's somebody hit lotto and gave it to every homeless person in the streets of Sacramento, or just doing the right things. And hopefully that would be your next track. I would, something, positive. But to hear you come out with such a very meaningful idea and concept and put it into a great song is hats off to you, my friend. Really, really.
Thank you.
I can't even imagine. I mean, I'd be calling you and I'm not Frank going, you did what? Dude, get up here. Put the shovel away. I got the Red Voodoo guys coming up next week. They can clean the stalls. I got you covered. Hang out with me for a while.
Yeah.
And no, that's pretty cool. Did you play all the instruments?
So I sang and played guitar, and then I had a couple of cats lay down the drums and bass. And the drums and bass are actually live in the studio. We tracked it old school. We had a click in the drummer's ears, just, you know, just in case we fell off. And the dude was just rock solid. And he's out of Jackson, California, which is about 2 hours away from where I live up here close to Sac. And so
these are friends of Frank's.
Oh, this was actually, long story short, I ran an ad for musicians in the area because my bass player just recently moved up to Washington. And while he was in town, this is a guy that was in the River video.
Okay.
And while he was in town, I let him know, I was like, hey, man, I don't know when venues are going to start opening up, but when they do, I'm going to need a couple of cats. So with your permission, I'm going to start putting up ads, you know, just so it's not like a blind side, like, right. Hey, what are you doing kind of a thing.
Right.
And he was totally cool about it. So I ran this ad, said bass player, you know, or drummer, blah, blah, blah. So this guy came down. I jammed with him one time. He was super killer, got a nice groove to him. So then while this is going on, I'm also talking to Frank because he was checking in to see, hey, how are the auditions going? And I was like, oh, I just met this really cool guy. He's freaking fantastic. And then Frank throws this curveball. He goes, well, does he know a drummer? And I'm like, he says he knows a really killer drummer. And then Frank goes, well, I got time this coming Saturday if you guys want to come into the studio and record 3 songs. And I'm like,
Mom, Dad, okay. How are we gonna do this?
So I called my mom and my dad and I told them what happened, and they go, well, you know, if they want to live at our house for the next week, they're more than welcome to, and we'll go out and buy food. And this guy says he's a really killer drummer, and we watched a video of them jamming, so let's do it. And so I called them up, and I've only met the bass player once, never met the drummer at all. I go, hey, this is Austin, da, 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 da. He's like, yeah, man, how's it going? I was like, so have you guys ever met Frank Hannon of Tesla? And they're like, no, but I've always wanted to. And I'm like, well, do you want to go record with him this Saturday? They're like, what? I was like, yeah. So you need to come to my house the rest of the week.
You're cutting the lawn. You're doing the dishes.
3 songs. Yeah. I go, here's 3 songs. We're going to eat, breathe, sleep, music. That's it. They're like, okay, we can do that. And so
wow.
We went into the studio on Saturday and came out on Sunday with 3 tunes.
3 new tunes besides The River and Take a Walk in My Shoes?
So besides The River, so including Take a Walk in My Shoes, that was one of them. We have one that will be releasing soon. It's called I'm Wanted. And then we have another one that's called We Shall Become. So those will be within the next couple of months.
And We Shall Be One?
We Shall Become.
Oh, We Shall Become.
Yeah.
Are you allowed to tell me this?
I am now.
All right. Well, yeah, breaking news. I can't wait for that track. That is so, what a cool story. Frank's like, come on in, boys. Let's do this.
No, it was totally cool. And I called Frank. I was like, yeah, they're wanting to, you know, blah, blah, blah. They're going to stay the week. He's like, are you sure? You never met these guys? I was like, yeah, I have a couple of hours before they show up. So anything that could go missing, I'm just going to put in my room and lock it. He's like, it's on you, dude. All right. And
put up the wireless cameras, license and registration.
Yeah, right. Now they were super cool dudes, really, really professional and killer drummer, killer bass player.
So do you see some sort of formation with these guys to use? I see a bunch of Austin dates coming up, shows coming up that we'll talk about in a minute. Can you utilize them guys? Are they around?
Well, the drummer had some work stuff come up and they needed him full time. So he decided to take that route.
Okay.
And the bass player has a family. So, family comes first.
No, I get you.
So when and if they're available, we get up and talk about jamming and stuff. But, because of the distance and stuff, every once in a while we'll still get together and jam. But as far as live gigs go, it's more scheduling than anything.
And it's so old school. Well, I just put a post up there, and who does? Wouldn't it be cool if, some guys in a band, a known band that we know, answered your post? And
Oh
said,
man,
wouldn't that be like
that
crazy?
would be hilarious.
You see,
that
like
would be hilarious.
a van pull up, a tour bus pull up, and a couple of guys get out and go, "Dude, we've been following you. What can we do for you?" That no Frank and say, "Don't tell him. Don't tell him it's us." Came up with some story, and then you go to Frank's place.
That'd be hilarious.
That would.
I tried doing that. I reached out to a couple of known. There's a couple of, I can't say the correct phrasing because it's above PG-13 rating, but there's a couple of bad cats, and I reached out to them. They're like, "Oh, well, I'm going on tour," and I'm like, "Fine, go on tour, whatever."
Come on, Joe Bonamessa, come on.
Yeah,
you remember me, the guy with the guitar? You told me never to play, no autographs, and it's just 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes. Just take a quick. Frank would love to see you. Come on.
Yeah, right. Frank's actually got one of Joe's signature flying V's. I don't know.
Really?
I'm sure he bought it, or I know that Joe opened up for Tesla when he was 16.
Wow.
And I don't remember the band name, but Frank told me the story, and it was at like some might have been a fair or something like that, or some smaller coliseum, like 5,000 people. But I was like, wow, you've known Joe for a while. He's like, yeah, Joe's a pretty good guitar player. I'm like,
pretty good guitar. Just a pretty good guitar player. Nothing. Yeah. Is the Austin, if you could maybe, and I don't want you to have to share something I don't want you to, you're not ready to do, but is the steps to put out a couple, put out the next single, Unwanted, give it a while, maybe a video, and then follow up with the other one, We Shall Become, and maybe put that EP package together or an album together. I'm sure you got maybe a stack of songs on a shelf somewhere.
So we're still talking with my managers, trying to figure out what we're going to do, because while I've been working with Frank, he's been also getting ready to go back on the road this year with Tesla. And so venues are starting to open up more and more and more here in California. And when that started to happen, I wanted to refresh my set list and get some killer covers in there. So I looked up Pink Floyd's Young Lust.
Oh, there's your guy, man. There's your guy.
I love that song and that album. So I'm scrolling on YouTube, and the way that I learn music is I watch other people play it. So I type in Young Lust guitar cover, enter. And the very first video, I see this dude singing into a microphone, and it's really high quality. So I'm thinking, oh, this guy put a lot of time and effort into his cover. That wasn't even the half of it. This dude completely basically rewrote the song and made it so killer that I watched it 5 times in a row. I sent it to my management, and they contacted him that night just to say, hey, this is super killer. You did a great job. And they left him a phone call. So the producer called my management back, and they were like, it's like, hi, this is Joe Merrick, blah, 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 blah. I was just giving this phone number a call back. And they're like, oh, we didn't know if this was your phone number, but yeah, man, you did a killer job. And so within a month, I flew out to Boston. This year, and I recorded 3 songs. And so we're going to go back in September to record 3 or 4 more songs. And then targeted late November, December area, we're going to be releasing that article of work as an EP, as well as in the meantime, we're going to be releasing I'm Wanted and We Shall Become to lead up to that additional work of music.
All under your name, or your name and this other gentleman?
All under my name. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. YouTube. My wife says, we need a new dryer. I go, hold on a minute. It's not heating up. I go to YouTube, Maytag, no heat, and there's the guy. This is the problem. Here's how you fix it. I go get the part, $20. I install it. Dryer
Yep.
fix. We got
Oh
heat.
yeah.
I'm like, ooh, $400 for a new dryer. We're not ready for that. That's cool. Yeah, I remember seeing you go to Boston on social media, which
Mhm.
you were up there, looked like for a week or so. Is there? I mean, yeah. Now that you got a good point. Now venues are opening, and I finally went to a live show over here at Daryl's house. Thank God. Anna Popovic. You want to see a guitar
Oh,
player?
that must have been incredible. I've always
I,
wanted to be on that set just to experience it.
oh, we got to get you out here. Once you get lined up and you're coming around the country, we'll get you that information. I missed Anna last year. I went on a cruise out of San Juan right at the beginning of this whole COVID thing, and she was at
Mhm.
Daryl's.
Oh.
So the minute she put up she was coming to Daryl's, and I made a few phone calls, and they actually were selling like a couple tables. They were at maybe
Mhm.
50% capacity. But just to hang with her and watch her play, I'm like, it was like Eric. It was like, well, obviously, I think I asked you. You did meet Eric Gales, if I recall,
Oh
and,
yeah.
and
Yeah, I
Eric
opened
played
up
a
for
guitar.
him,
You opened for Eric, right? Yeah,
yeah, a
that's
couple
right.
years ago.
And it's like you watch some of these blues guitar players, and I'm like, Anna just gets up there and makes it so. And she's in like 6-inch heels, running around,
Yeah.
pressing a wah wah, and just and she got a killer band. I mean, these guys are great band. So yeah, I finally went to. But yeah, my point is, with I just got the email. Tesla pre-sale tickets going on sale. So
Yeah.
now with Frank getting back on the road, I'm sure his time, but he's a phone call away. What I loved about, I want to say, with Tesla, they're one of their last new albums. Why
Is that
can't
the
I remember?
shock?
Yeah, Shock, that Phil Cullen did when they were on tour with Def Leppard. And
Mhm.
Phil was saying, yeah, like we could do it. Let's just put a recording studio in the tour bus, and instead of, when we got time, we go on the bus and do it. So I thought that would be cool. So yeah, if you send a file to Frank and he's got that whole setup, that would be awesome, man. That's
Mhm.
cool. How's the vocals coming out? You sound great. You still working with the Ike Turner somebody vocal, I think, if I remember the story.
Well, that was actually when I was working with Twana, who, for the new viewers, is Ike Turner's first daughter from their very first marriage. So not Ike and Tina, but the prior marriage.
Okay.
And so she helped me for about 3 to 5 years develop all the right techniques and, diaphragm. And then when I was in Boston, the producer showed me some vocal warm-ups, and then he showed me how to even further perfect, pushing in to get all the air, so you're not getting all your voice right here in your throat, because then you can only do that for so long before something gives.
Right. Very cool. Man, you're just meeting so many people, and they're willing to, show you what to do and how to do it, which is cool. You got Frank, and then you go to Boston, and there was somebody else pushing your boundaries and showing you other things.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah,
you
there's a
know,
song uh, that we recorded that I didn't even know. At the end of the song, I go to a really high, I don't know the notes because I'm still learning that by ear, but I told him after we recorded that part, I was like, man, I didn't even know that I could sing that register. He's like, yeah, well, the vocal warm-ups looks like they helped.
wow, so cool. And that's what makes a great producer. Somebody who's a good listener and is always challenging you, right? As
Oh
the
yeah.
artist, try this, try that, and not influence you with their dynamic so much, but know enough to make you reach the goals that you want. I'm not a
Right.
musician, but that's the more I talk to artists, the more I get that. And I think a lot of artists, some of them like the role of producer, to see somebody, make it, like be there and say, try this, try that, which I
Mm-hmm.
think is cool. You got some upcoming shows. Sunday, July 11th, Austin Moe live at the Silver Dollar Saloon.
I
In
believe that.
Maysville, California?
I believe that might be the 10th of July,
Okay.
I believe. But yeah, it's a cool little Western kind of vibe. It was the longest operating brothel in the United States.
Oh,
yeah.
Longer than the
So
Bunny Ranch in Vegas, in Nevada.
Yeah. Well, I mean, up until it all stopped.
Right.
But upstairs, it's all still the same. And we got the rooms and the pictures of the women still on the doors, like from the 1800s.
Wow.
And in the bar, it's got plasti dipped silver dollars, and it's literally, they're all original from the time that it was operating. So there's just all this, it's just awesome. And then the guns on the wall are period, like from the 1800s. Like, oh dude, it's a really cool scene.
Have you played there before?
I have, yeah. I think I've played there probably, gosh, I want to say maybe 5 to 7 times.
Wow,
in the last couple of years.
A lot of great history. That's cool. And then on what is it, Saturday, July 17th at the Relic? Am I saying it right?
Yeah.
Relic Tavern?
The Relic Tavern, and that's in Benicia, California. So that would be, like the Bay Area, San Francisco kind of people. It's closer to them. And it's a really small, intimate club, but in a good way. The sound travels very evenly. And it's a trip. I've played that bar just as many times as the Wrangler. And with live shows, with club scenes, it's either hit or miss.
Right.
Well, that bar, I can't remember a time that I played there that it hasn't been packed. And I think the last time I played there, some of my friends from Vallejo came up, and then a wedding. This is like 11:30 at night. We're supposed to stop at 12.
Yeah, I see that. I thought it was a mistake.
Wedding. No, a whole wedding came in. This is the last time we performed there, I believe, and stayed for like an hour and a half. So we ended up playing till like 1 a.m, and they just had a blast.
That's cool.
It's really cool to see, familiar faces and new faces just rocking out to good music.
It says actually 11:30 p.m. and I was going to ask you if it was a typo or not, but there you go. There's the story. And then Saturday, July 31st with the guys from Red Voodoo live at the Windmill Cove at 6 p.m.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one's going to be cool. So we're double headlining. We're going to be playing first, and the venue is right on the river. And I just played there for the very first time on the 22nd of this month. And it's a trip watching these people just fly by on jet skis and like super powered boats. And then there was this dude that had something that looked like a shark that would like dive under the water and like shoot up like a dolphin.
Oh.
And so he was spinning around for about a half hour. Plus, the owner of the venue, Jerry, and the sound guy, John, are just incredible people. They love to support music and musicians. So it's all around a really great atmosphere.
Is management looking to get you out of California if possible, or is it up to promoters? How does that all? What do we need to do to get you out to New York?
Ooh, New York. That would be fun. It's more or less kind of a little bit of both, because right now, I've never played New York. And so to do that, it would be to go out there and either find some people there to jam with and then do a couple of small clubs and stuff, or contact bigger names who are touring in that area and try to get support on that tour.
No, that I see here locally. A lot of folks are like partnering up with two or maybe another act or maybe 2 acts, just that people are familiar with, so at least the venue is going to be somewhat full so they can make their money on the drinks and the entrees and the tickets and all that. So no, I get that. I saw it at Daryl's house. They had an artist come in, and I know the guy. I interviewed the guy a bunch of times, and I'm like, where's your family? And he just looked at me, not realizing that for a Wednesday night, you better bring in 60, 65 people. If you
Right.
ever think you're going to do a Friday or a Saturday or maybe
Mhm.
a Sunday brunch is not a big deal. But yeah, it was kind of eye-opening for him. But well, if there's anything I can do, man, let me know and we'll try to hook you up. Where can everybody to go and purchase Take a Walk in My Shoes, Austin? Go to your website or Frank Hannon Productions. Where can they buy it?
So at the moment, our website is under construction. However, on Apple Music and Spotify, YouTube Music, and I believe Amazon has their own music streaming service. If you type in Take a Walk in My Shoes and then Austin Moe in the same search, we'll pop right up. And also, for the people who have never seen me on your show before, you can also search The River Austin Moe, and that is my last single that I released in December of 2020.
Well, we've had the river on our rotation for quite a while.
I
And
appreciate it.
now that this is out June 25th, and I just got back into town yesterday, we will be adding Take a Walk in My Shoes on our rotation, and hopefully get some more Austin Moe lovers and listeners out here in the East Coast for you. Austin, as he says, his website is under construction. Austin Moe experience with an X.com. Austin Moe underline official at Instagram, and Austin underline Moe underline XP on Twitter. And obviously you're also on Facebook, right, my bud?
Yeah.
And how do I get a pair of them sunglasses, man? Blender Eyewear or something like that, July 4th. Pretty cool. Hopefully they sponsor you.
Yeah, that's I've shot a couple of emails, we'll see.
Cool.
Fingers crossed.
Before I let you go, I got a lot of gearheads always going, Pat, ask them about their guitar. What's their go-to guitar that you're playing with that you use maybe for Take a Walk in My Shoes?
So the guitar that I used in this studio session was, or is, I should say, a 1999 Gibson Carina edition Flying V, and it's an anniversary edition, so it's just all hot rodded out. And the reason I have that guitar is because the guitar in the River video is not mine.
Right, I remember the story was your father borrowed it, right?
Yeah, I had it for 12 years. I was supposed to have it for 2 months. And so the guy eventually wanted it back, which I understand. But honestly, between you and me, I'd much rather still have the guitar. But when it came back to giving the guitar back to the guy, I went up to my good friend, Greg Golden in Reno. He owns Bizarre Guitar. And as you know, Billy Gibbons has been up there in the past, and he loves all the vintage stuff that Greg has. And so when I went up there, he had 5 Flying Bs. 2 of them were his personal collection. So I went down, I played them all. He even had the very brand new 1970s edition that Gibson had released that, I think it was that week that the Flying B had come out. And I played that, and it sounded cool, but because it really didn't have that much seat time on it, like just in general, it played very stiff. And that's, just not my jive. And so I picked up this guitar, which is the one that I took home, and it played great. It sounded great. And so I talked to Greg, and he was like, yeah, normally it's this much, but because you're my buddy, this is, the cut that I'll give you. And I was like, yeah, I can't not leave without this guitar.
Cool. Are we going to see a full video eventually for Take a Walk in My Shoes? Are we working on that?
I would say so. I'm not 100% sure when that will be, but I would say yes, for sure.
Excellent. Why do I hear somebody shooting?
Oh, that's my phone. I forgot that.
No, man.
We'll edit that out.
I'm like ready to duck. I'm like, we're getting shot.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all good. Well, it's Austin. My door is always open. I hope we get a chance to chat again for the other tracks that are upcoming. And thank you very much for sharing that. And if there's anything I can do to help you, by all means, don't hesitate to reach out.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for your help with everything.
No. All good. Time to rock, my man, Mr. Austin Moe. Right here on Pat Soundbytes. Take a walk in my shoes. Go buy it today on Spotify and Apple and all that good stuff. And go check it out. Go to his YouTube and hit that subscribe button. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Shake hands, stop fighting, my friend. walk in my shoes.